Hey everyone, welcome back to ChaatNChat. My name is Josh.
My name is Miguel.
And we are watching KRRISH. This is part 3. And if you haven't watched part 1 or part 2, I put the link to the playlist below this video, as well as Koi Mil Gaya, because they are connected. We do know that, and we have watched Koi Mil Gaya. You know, it always surprises me how many people will watch something, you know, when we watch a sequel, and they're like, hey, you guys are watching this out of order. And I'm like, no, we already watched that. We are in order. Don't worry about it. Koi Mil Gaya's playlist link is in the description.
Yeah. I think the only one's worse is when people send us, you gotta watch this movie, and we're like going, we watched that ages ago.
Yeah. We're on a roll, like over 110. I believe this is 114 that we were on. Yeah, wow. And the majority of them, you were with me for the majority of them. So anyway, let's get back to the movie. Like I said, this is part 3. And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing, sharing, a like button par thappad maro.
Krishna, तुम्हारे पिता रोहित मेहरा जिंदा हैं.
Oh ho ho ho! Another twist.
I told you I thought he was still alive.
उस दिन वो सुबह तक अपने काम में खोए हुए थे, क्योंकि अपना प्रोजेक्ट कंप्लीट करके उन्हें इंडिया वापस जाना था.
आइए. How are you this morning?
मैं तो बिल्कुल ठीक हूँ, चीफ.
Man, he just channels that character so easily, you know? Like he just becomes Rohit.
Oh, if the computer could foresee the future, the computer might show him what, and he would have to then make a decision there.
पर मुझे अभी भी यकीन नहीं होता कि हम फ्यूचर देख सकते हैं.
देखेंगे तो मानेंगे.
क्या?
आइए और आने वाले कल को आज देखिए बताइए.
And what is he going to see? Something that scares him. Oh, at least he put some security measures into it. Oh, it's gotta go quite the distance.
ये देखो निशा, तुम्हारा बेटा तो बिल्कुल मेरे रोहित पे गया है. क्या कहा? क्या हुआ मेरे रोहित को? मेरा रोहित नहीं मर सकता है. मेरा रोहित जिंदा है.
Oh, seeing his death, what he believes to be his death. Oh, yeah, that would do it. Time to burn this place down.
रोहित, ये क्या किया तुमने?
That's why he's probably still alive. The dude's probably has him in a prison, so he forced him to make another one.
अगर आपने रोहित को मार दिया, तो आप ये कंप्यूटर फिर से बना भी लें, पर उसे स्टार्ट नहीं कर पाएंगे.
Okay.
जब तक इसकी आंखों की रेटिना और इसके दिल की धड़कन कंप्यूटर में फीड नहीं होगी, तब तक कंप्यूटर स्टार्ट नहीं होगा.
It's a good thing it had his heartbeat, so it just couldn't be his retina.
Yeah, they just remove his eyes and put in like that solution.
इसीलिए मैं पिछले कई सालों से तुम्हारी दादी को और तुमको ढूंढ रहा था. आज प्रिया के जरिए आखिर तुमसे मुलाकात हो ही गई.
Oh, don't forgive Priya that easily. She's still a punk.
She still ruined everything in a lot of ways.
No, I mean, like, in a way, I guess she brought him to him, but still, no.
Don't touch me, girl. Don't touch me.
Oh, she got the tape, so, but can you still be forgiven for your deceit?
डॉक्टर आर्या ने उन्हें कई सालों से मशीनों के जरिए ऐसी हालत में रखा है कि सिर्फ उनका दिमाग जिंदा है, शरीर बेजान है.
Oh, dude, that is messed up.
कल जब कंप्यूटर स्टार्ट होगा, तो तुम्हारी जरूरत भी खत्म हो जाएगी और तुम्हारी तकलीफ भी.
I don't know. It seems kind of like a weak villain in a way because the whole thing is he doesn't want him to build another computer, but nothing has given him the impression that he will, right? I don't know. He's just crazy.
Congratulations, sir.
देखा रोहित, मैं जीत गया।
Like it just works first time out of the box.
तुम चाहो तो अपनी सांसें बंद कर सकते हो, या मैं कुछ मदद करूं?
Dude, you better test it before you kill him. Ah! You're gonna die! Ooh. Oh, what kind of god goes down like that?
हमने ये कंप्यूटर इसलिए बनाया था कि हम अपना कल देखकर उसे बदल सकें।
Maybe.
Can you change it though? I mean, that's debatable. Because now that you've seen that, it knows that your actions to that point you have already seen it.
मास्टमैन,
Oh, Chris Lee is dead. That sucked. He's gonna feel so guilty about that.
So take the mask and make it come true.
डॉक्टर आर्या ने शायद कंप्यूटर स्टार्ट कर लिया है और उसमें उसने देखा होगा
अपना कल वही होगा जो डॉक्टर आर्या ने देखा है।
Yeah, broad daylight. He looks so happy with himself too. Oh, he had like a stake through his heart or something, right?
It looked like glass.
Yeah, car is a little bit faster than a horse.
Yeah.
Oh, but he's doing it.
But there are such things as traffic jams too. And slow traffic. Oh, he's get the express lane.
That'd be so cool if he jumps on that elevator and freaks him out.
What the hell, kid?
Yeah, she better hold tighter onto his hand when they're near traffic.
Javelin through that would be kind of cool.
He's very light-footed.
Mm-hmm. Krish is getting lots of publicity.
Do it. I don't know how, but do it. Wow.
Wow. That's kind of a falling run.
Oh, it's almost Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, almost.
Didn't it sound
yeah,
like
it
that?
did kind of sound that way.
Oh, is he gonna like do that like dolphin like shoot up thing? Oh man. Yeah. Okay. Dude, this guy's got everything. Oh, security ninjas.
You think?
Yeah? Oh.
It is sounding so much like Pirates of the Caribbean. It is.
Told you?
Yeah.
I like immediately, I'm like, oh, what? We're watching some pirate. Whoa. Yeah, okay. It's like anime now.
Yeah.
With the like
Well,
backgrounds
he might be
and stuff.
moving
This is
so
cool.
fast that they, to them it's just a blur, and this is what he sees, but they see just blurring.
But with the backgrounds, like this is the coolest like representation of like live action anime I've ever seen. You know, with how they always have the backgrounds like that. That was really cool. I've never seen that before. I mean, it had a little bit of 80 vibes to it, but it was cool. Ha ha ha! You still dead, man?
यहाँ बचे हैं 9 यानी वो 15 मिनट में यहाँ पहुंच जाएगा. That means he's already on the island.
Check your cameras, man. Your ninjas are out. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you have all the guns trained on the doorway and know exactly where he's going to come in from. That is so cool. I think his like powers are upgrading too. Because he never ran that fast before.
डॉक्टर आर्य ने इस आइलैंड के हर हिस्से में बेहद टाइट सिक्योरिटी रखी है.
So they know, and he knows that they know, because he's like... Dude, I'm so ready for some Matrix, like, bullet dodging.
कौन हो तुम? जवाब तुम्हें मेरे पास आके देना होगा. मैंने कहा था ना, मैंने फ्यूचर देख लिया है कि कौन मेरे साथ है और कौन मेरे खिलाफ.
Priya get there? What the heck?
That was awfully fast to get Priya there, huh?
Well, I guess if he saw that, maybe, I don't know, maybe he grabbed her earlier on. Oh, going through the gauntlet. Rohit must know who he is.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. He should have kind of known that if he took out his whole ninja squad, these guys are nothing.
Oh, by the way,
wow. Oh,
fire
the
extinguisher guy, boom!
But I think he's already messing up the computer, right? Are they
Yeah,
in the computer room? No.
Yeah.
Are they?
yeah, part of it.
Who is he gonna save? Can he
The
save
fire
both of them?
extinguisher. He's gonna throw the fire extinguisher, save both of them. Or at least save her and...
Take one for his dad. Whoa! Yeah, his power is definitely upgraded.
The rage coming out of him.
Dude, his fist is gonna go straight through this guy.
Yeah.
Oh, every rib broken.
There it is. Still came true.
Dude's dead, you don't need to shoot him. Huh.
कौन हो तुम?
What a great death face.
That was kind of, it's a little creepy, but at the same time, it was great.
I think he's supposed to be creepy. have a surprise for you.
Yeah.
Probably wondering what was in the tea she was drinking.
Yeah.
रोहित
It's just still sad about his wife, though.
Yeah.
Calling his alien buddies?
Mm.
Or maybe he knows how to send the message, letting Jadu know that she died.
Thank you, Chad.
Thank you for... Oh. All right, so what do you think? Why was he thanking him? Because the powers that he gave him originally passed on to his son, and then the
That's
son is
one
the one
thing.
who came to save him. So if it
Yes.
wasn't for the powers being passed on, his son would never have been there to save him. But if Jadu never gave him the powers, he would never have been able to build the supercomputer in the first place. So in reality, Jadu is the one that got you in that mess, man. So I don't know if you should be thanking
Well,
him.
maybe he got him out by perhaps influencing the computer or something, okay? Because
So you think the aliens were kind of in control of the computer?
maybe could have controlled the computer from afar or something like that. I mean, there's a couple of thoughts that I had. I mean, they could have influenced the computer. They could have actually come, I mean, they're obviously very advanced. Maybe they're already doing some time travel and so forth, and maybe they came to him earlier and said, we need to fix this because otherwise this is going to get really messy. You know? And,
Maybe.
you know, so...
It could be secret invasion where they're like, you know, disguised as humans and they were
Maybe.
there the whole time.
Maybe.
I really think it's because he's thanking him for the abilities. But Jadu gave him the ability to heal his brain and gave him these sort of powers. But he, without all that, he would have lived a more simple life and
Yeah.
Priti would never have died. I forgot Priti her character's name. But then she wouldn't have died because she would have also had a simple life. But then Krishna would never have been born. So, I don't know.
Well,
Fate
no,
is
Krishna
fate.
would have still been born.
No, because they would never have got married because I don't think she would have married him.
No,
If-
I don't know. She kind of loved him even after the fact.
Maybe. Yeah, that's true. Okay.
Yeah,
All
so-
right.
so-
maybe.
and
so
maybe-
without the
maybe-
powers, so them giving the powers back permanently?
Maybe
I don't know.
Krishna wouldn't have had powers. Don't know. There's so many ways that could have spun.
Yeah.
So, but no, it.
And he's like, I didn't ask for super genius powers. I just wanted you to fix my brain, bro.
just a brain fix.
Yeah, I just want to live a simple
just up
life.
it. Just turn the volume up just a little bit. That's all I'm asking.
But now we have Krish, and
yep.
so if Krish goes on like
He got a lot of PR
superhero,
running through the city there.
but like what city is he going to pick? Because
Well,
like
that's
you know
true.
Batman has Gotham and all
that's
that.
Singapore.
So would
And
he
how-
go
and how
to
do they how
Singapore?
do they deal with Dad coming back? I mean, does he hang out hidden away?
Yeah,
and
no, he
works
retires.
Well, he retires, but he's so smart. He's going to be doing stuff. So he's the backup to Krish.
No, he's Overwatch.
Yeah,
You know, like the eye in the sky.
Yeah, exactly.
eye in the sky.
Exactly.
And then
helps him with new technology. Also, this could be so good. I like it. So
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
So, but I still think, like, why pick Singapore, though, as a city to defend? Like, you know, it should be something more local, like something in India. So
I don't
we
know.
should,
Not much
like,
was
settle.
happening in that valley.
No. Are you going to say, like, a rampaging horse or something? Like, I don't know. Falling camper?
Yeah,
Like, I don't.
yeah.
Anyway, like, so, but a city in India, and then he
yeah.
just kind of, like, goes there, settles down, has a little family, and then
yeah.
does Kate
Tries to
crusading
be
at night.
normal, tries to do his whole Clark Kent impersonation and everything.
Yeah.
I loved how they did that one where he showed up immediately in what he was wearing.
That was really good.
Yeah, that was very good. So I really liked overall the intertwined storylines that were going on, and I liked that you did turn, and you did at a certain point you did convince me that the guy was going to be good, and I was like, oh yeah, and he did start being good. I'm like, okay, this is interesting.
Well, it was a little too maybe like, oh, I'm chasing you down. But as soon as I realized that Nazaruddin Shah's character did not, Dr. Arya, he did not know that Krishna was there. So that told me that, because that was a good length of time, maybe a week or something, that he knew that he was there. He would have told Dr. Arya immediately if he was alive.
Yeah.
So that was
you
like,
got that
oh
to
yeah,
tell.
no, like
Yeah.
he's not a bad guy. He's good.
Yeah.
And
Well,
you know, when Priya
sometimes
was there-
though, you don't want to go to the boss with half-baked info. You know, you got to be careful because when you got cuckoo
Yeah, but if the
heads-
boss finds out that you knew something,
Well, but remember, he also was he was holding the secret, so he had to be careful how he interacted with the boss, because he had the big secret. He knew that, you know,
what?
that he was still alive.
Well, yeah. Everyone at that facility knew he was still
Yeah,
alive.
but
I mean, everyone in the entire company knew he was still alive. They were all evil. They were all in the room.
Okay, all right.
Like the whole head scientist, doctor, all of the henchmen and stuff, they all knew he was still alive. That word would spread quick. Hey, you know, boss man, he's keeping this guy like a zombie in this other room, and we got to feed him occasionally and stuff. Like,
Oh, I don't think they were feeding him. He looked pretty
Emaciated.
Yeah.
Well,
I think they were giving him the bare minimum.
you don't
of vitamins
live
and
for,
stuff
probably
so-
on IV or something.
Yeah,
he
yeah,
looks super weak.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, that was KRRISH. It was fun. It was
good.
fun. The beginning, I don't know, like it was a little over the like some of the acting and stuff in the beginning. Now, Hrithik Roshan's acting is always really good. Like he plays Rohit's character super well and convincingly, and even Krishna, I love that he had these like very different personalities that he was enacting, because when you have the same image, you're playing a double role, you have to convincingly play two different characters, or else it's
Right.
like, oh, you just have your hair a little bit different,
Yeah.
but you're really the same character. So I like that he had that.
And he played that, like I commented at one point, he plays the child element. You know, he's a grown man, but he suddenly becomes like a child. I liked that very, very much. Do you think it's real love with Krishna and
Priya?
Priya?
Yeah, because like when she was getting the ring, that's when it changed for me. Like when he got the ring back, and it was before. And what I like is because it's before she knew that he was actually KRRISH. So it wasn't like, oh, I actually like the idea of loving a superhero, but she didn't know he was KRRISH at the time, and he got the ring for her. And that's when she said, you put it on. Because the other time she put it on, she took it and she put it on, which is like, hey, that's a little like fake.
Yeah.
But then when she's like, you put it on, at that point, I think that was the turning point.
Yeah.
But I think that if you actually honestly love someone, then as soon as she felt those feelings, then she should have went and told them the truth.
She should have been honest up front, I think.
Yeah.
So many relationships.
But
just
then the
start off
story
on
would
that.
have been a little bit different. So things happen, and you know, this is actually realistic, because how often do people actually don't do what they should do? Frequently. People, like, you could look at something and be like, you should have done this. Well, yeah, you're saying that now, but like in the moment, it's kind of hard.
In the moment, it was hard.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think it was real love.
Yeah.
I think Priyanka Chopra's character Priya, I think she just played in the beginning, like it was just maybe a little over the top. Like after the whole, like when she got back to Singapore and Krishna came, I feel like it kind of toned down a little bit, but her friend Honey was just way over the top. And so that was like a little bit, but I feel like a lot of movies, and not just in India, but a lot of movies in like the early 2000s, I think this was like actually maybe, no, I think this was 2013 or something. Okay. But anyway, it still has that same like kind of early 2000 vibes. And I think like a lot of them are over the top. Like even in Hollywood, movies were just, you know, if they were a comedy movie, it was maybe a little over the top. Because, but her character really annoyed me, and I guess you guys would figure that out, because like I was just not Team Priya the entire time.
Yeah.
I was like,
Well,
Team, get the hell out of
Honey
there.
was, I would have jettisoned her a long time ago.
Honey, like.
Yeah.
And maybe she would have been a little bit toned down if Honey was not there, but Honey was just.
Yeah.
I was not feeling it.
Well,
Like,
Honey probably was the one that got him in trouble for being 5 days late to begin with, because I suspect Priya would have been back on time, you know?
yeah,
So,
that's true.
yeah.
Priya would have been on time, but
Yeah,
Honey
yeah,
wanted to just hang out a little
Yeah,
bit more. So,
yeah. So, yeah.
and you know, Nazaruddin Shah, I think this is the first movie. Yeah, this is the first movie I've seen him as a villain. So Dr. Arya. And I mean, he's really good. He plays these roles. We saw him in Iqbal.
Yeah. Every time he would do the breaking news, I was like going, dude, you are maniacal.
So crazy. I love that.
I was like,
he's crazy. He's like, breaking news.
yeah.
Things are about to get.
Yes, it's going to get very,
Yeah, it was really good. He was great.
I thought that was pretty. And it was, in a way, it was kind of so not the regular vibe of the movie. To have him do that it did kind of come in very impactful and everything.
Yeah.
So I like
Well,
that.
it was also too because it would just like it was like he's talking to us, and it would be like he'd break away. It was almost like a breaking. It was definitely breaking the fourth wall because he's looking straight at the camera.
Right.
And so it's almost like a Deadpool thing.
Yeah.
Like he's going, he's like, breaking news, like things are about to get crazy, and I'm gonna be in the middle or something like that. You know, like it just was like, but it was really cool because it gave like nuts because. Like I remember saying at one point, oh well, you should like do this or something like that. And I'm like, wait a second, no, it doesn't make sense because he's crazy. Of course, he's gonna do whatever.
Right.
Oh, here's maybe a villain. So in Zindagi Na Milegi Dobara, he played a really bad dad. So you could think that's a villain. He was remember the artist dad.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I
so
was
you
trying
could
to
think of
remember
him
where
as,
I knew him from.
Well,
And it was-
that and then also Iqbal. He was the coach.
Yeah, I
in Iqbal.
remember him as the coach, but I was going, wasn't he an artist or a book writer or something? Yeah, he was the step away dad that other character came and found.
Yeah.
And then found out.
And
I
he
don't
was like,
him.
he was kind of at least he was like pretty straightforward and honest about who he is though. So is he really a villain?
Yeah,
He's just a bad dude.
Yeah.
So I mean, he didn't try to kill anyone.
He didn't make a great dad. That's
No,
for sure.
but I think all in all, I liked it. I liked the action scenes. Like I thought those like stunts were really fun because because a lot of these superhero movies, it's kind of just like all about the action, like close up on action and all that sort of stuff. But this was like kind of almost like an action scene where it was like also kind of dancing and fluid. Like it was like doing these cool like super moves.
Yeah.
Where I think like in all the other like action hero movies, it's kind of just like, I'm just gonna like punch you super hard and you fly away.
Yeah.
Like the one where he got on his shoulders, like
Yes,
on the bike, and then he flipped
and then
backwards.
it was like he had gravity boots on and held him and flipped him around with him. I thought that I was like going, breaks all rules of dynamics and physics and so forth. But I'm like going, that's
because
very
he's
cool.
got superpowers. That's why like a movie like
Yeah.
this works so well, and you don't have to think about logic and all that sort of stuff
exactly.
because he has
Yeah,
superpowers.
exactly. So it's a given that was going to happen.
Yeah,
So
sure.
Yeah, and you throw kids out the hole in the tent, and it was
Yeah.
like I was very unexpected. That was a good way of getting them out. Pretty
So
quick.
even with all of those cool scenes, because I really did like it today, watching it today, maybe if I was watching this back in 2013, I'd have a different rating, but I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10 because I just thought the beginning was so over the top and it really dragged it down. But like I said, once we got to Singapore, then it was like started getting a lot of fun, and then the pacing started getting a lot better for me. But yeah, and the action scenes were really cool once they played up the superhero, because when people are telling me KRRISH is a superhero movie, I mean, I guess I was expecting some of that more like earlier
Sooner.
on, because then halfway through I'm like, I don't think this is a superhero movie, guys.
Because,
like,
I mean, because realistically, he didn't really become superhero kind of until 2/3 of the way in.
yeah, something like that.
Yeah, because he just arrived in Singapore midpoint.
Yeah, but even then, it wasn't like he's a superhero.
No, he wasn't
And-
at midpoint. It was like and in fact, I'm coming to the big city and I'm gonna be cool and chill and just like every dude on the street.
Yeah.
That's what Grandma wanted.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
yeah.
I'm gonna give it a 7.
Yeah.
I mean, if it wasn't for all that over the top stuff and the acting was still a little like ooh like that, like ooh, I don't know. It just to me like those sort of like cringy stuff. But again, if I was watching this back when it first came out, I'd have different things because things change, modern era, and things keep changing and developing. But I'm gonna stick with a 7.
Yep.
What about you?
Well, it's interesting because I was actually thinking a 7 too. It's vacillating between a 7 and 8. I mean, I really did enjoy it, but I was like, it just seemed the front end dragged. Think of it as an entirety because the last part just started flying all of a sudden.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa, this has
Because the pacing got a lot better.
Yeah, the pacing, there was a lot more
Going
on and so forth. Whereas the front was just, and I guess you could kind of say, well, was it director building and everything? But I'm like, 2/3 building? That seems a little
Well, if you think about it, it was even more than that, because if you think his origin story, so if you look at a movie, like a superhero movie, it's their origin story movie, like the first in the series, you'd think, okay, well, they're gonna spend some time talking about his background, all that sort of stuff, where he came from, the tragedy that happened to his parents, all that sort of stuff, and go on. If you think about it, they had like 1.5 movies of his origin story, you know, like before he even became, because Koi Milgya was basically a whole origin story of where he came from.
Yeah.
But and I think they spent more time with his charading as a ghost than they did with him saving his dad. Like, I think they literally spent more time of him pretending to be a ghost than they did of him like trying to save his dad. Yeah. And to me, it just seems like, was that more important? Like, of him pretending to be a ghost? I don't know. That is the sort of pacing thing that I'm talking about, is that, when you have something really important in the story, because you could have done away with that whole thing and spending like 15 minutes on him being a ghost versus spending like 10 minutes of him saving his dad.
Yeah. Well, I think maybe they were trying to emphasize how they were how the village and the area was really also, not only was his grandmother protecting him, but also the village was also protecting him.
I guess like it still shows
they
like
could have done
background.
that in some other way other than the whole.
Well, I think just saying like ghost, like showing that guy and making him a ghost. I mean, but like spending so long on it, so. Anyway, it was still a good movie. I mean, heck, I'd still recommend a 7. Like, even though I'm rating it a 7, it's, like that's a recommendation. I would tell someone to watch this.
Definitely, I would tell others to watch it. So a lot of people who really get into all that sort of hero coming and superhero villain. And
What's
all that.
interesting though is that you'd think that maybe the next one would be better because they don't have to go so much into his history and they could just start straight up like, hey, he's a superhero and he's gonna go save people and have another villain or something. But everyone in the comments were telling me that KRRISH 3 is horrible. And they're like, don't watch it. Watch KRRISH 2 or KRRISH, but don't watch KRRISH 3. So I don't know. We'll see when we put this one up, like if people are gonna recommend KRRISH 3, but because KRRISH 4 is coming out. Like KRRISH 4 is coming out. They're filming it maybe 2025.
A lot of times, a lot of these, the big superhero franchises and everything, they have good ones, and then suddenly there's a flop, and then it's like they recover the next one.
Sequels are really hard to get right.
And sequels are really hard to get and make them fresh and a good storyline that you feel as though the characters continue to develop and you're really getting behind them. So I'm going to be up for it. I'm going to be up for it. So
well, you guys let us know what you thought in the comments, and I do know a lot of people comment about the nostalgia of watching these movies, because they're like, oh no, I have to rate it like a 10 out of 10 because I remember, when I was a little kid seeing this, I saw a lot of those comments. And I'm like, okay, no, like that's fair. Because I have movies like that if I watched them fresh or if I recommended them to somebody that I loved when I was a kid, like guys, there's this one and I'm really embarrassed. Like now when I go back and watch it, I'm like, oh, it's so cringe, but I love watching it because it was so nostalgic. There's a movie called Warriors of Virtue. It's about kangaroos that know karate and... Yeah, and they have like elements and superpowers. Like, so there's like each kangaroo has an element that they fight with.
Water,
it's a live
fire,
action,
all of that.
and it's a live action movie. But then when I go back, when I was a kid, I remember the effects being like so mind blowing. Be like, wow, these like kangaroos are so real. But then when I watch it now, I'm just like, oh man, this is so bad. But it was so nostalgic that I still watch it. And for the time though, it was amazing.
Yeah, and also sometimes I think, certain stories resonate us differently in our lives and so forth. I mean, I have to admit there are movies that I now even think, oh my God, I remember this movie. And I'll say, oh, I really liked it. And I start rewatching it again. And I'm just like, oh God, why did I even like this? And again, it resonates for a particular time period, a different age, all of that sort of stuff.
Yeah. But hey, I still go back and I watch it. I still like it, even though like I just am like, why did I like this? But I still like it because I remember liking it so much. So it's all the nostalgia. So I get it.
Yeah.
I get it, guys.
Yeah.
So
we're okay. If you think it's a 10, great. It's a 10.
Yeah. Well, guys, my 10 is going to be Warriors of Virtue. So go watch that and then tell me what you're going to rate that, because honestly, that movie would not get a 10 from anyone that's watching it for the first time in 2024.
I'm going to go and find that. Okay.
Warriors of Virtue? We should watch it. Let's watch it this weekend.
All right. Okay. Sounds
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining us here and watching along with us. We really appreciate it. And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing, sharing, or like button par thappar maro.